There you go. Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for attending. I'd like to thank Peter Jennings from our St. Catherine's Club here in Canada, and Steve Muir from the Newmarket Club, also in Canada, for chairing this meeting. And today we have a pretty full schedule. Shirley will do our welcome here in a second or two. Then we're going to review the survey from our previous two meetings. We're going to talk a little bit about our website and an open discussion. And then the most exciting part of the day is Gauthier will talk about what's going on in Belgium. Then I think the most significant part of it is going to be our Q&A, because then we get a lot of good information, a lot of flowing information. I would suggest when you start, if you have a question or want to make a comment, introduce yourself first and then please make your comment or question. Thank you very much. Shirley, please.
Right. Well, looks as though my numbers are a little bit different from what I've got down looking at a sheet of paper in front of me. But let me say greetings to all our members who have joined us here today from Australia, Belgium, Canada, France, India, Ireland, South Africa, and the UK. But especially to those who are joining us for the first time to our third PROBUS Global Community Meeting on this memorable day, April Fool's Day, until 12 midday. I have survived, and I hope you do too. We're nearly reaching 500 members with a total of 497 today. At this meeting, we should have had 84 members from 8 countries and 65 clubs participating, but maybe I've got this wrong. And now I was going to say that Richard will talk us about the survey results from the past meeting, followed by Peter Jennings with an overview of the website. And then Peter will also introduce our speaker for today, Gauthier, President of Belgium, who will give a presentation on PROBUS in Belgium. And then afterwards, we shall have the usual question and answers. So thank you, sit back and enjoy the meeting. Over to you, Richard.
Good morning, everybody, and good afternoon. And Australia, I think you're in between good night and good morning. Thanks for joining us. Wanted to talk a little bit about how we got to where we are today. We started back on December 10th with our first meeting and followed on January 28th. We really started this to increase the communication among our membership across the world. We did this through our Zoom meetings and also through our newsletter, which recently we certainly have increased the circulation of that newsletter, the recent one. And they're all newsletters and all previous meetings are on the website, which Peter will talk about. This morning I just want to do a little bit of a reality check as to where we are, how we got here, and what we need to do going forward. And that's looking now and saying, well, what were the results of the survey? From our previous attendees at the meeting, we had about a 25% reply to the survey. And we got mostly very positive replies. Certainly, looking at the format, all people said, yes, it's working. It's creating a lot of interest and being very informative to those that attend. One of the things I'd like to add is more information on how clubs are formed, how clubs go about doing their business. Currently we're doing it on a higher level than at the club base, but I think that's something we can expand into as we go down the road on this. Most people, and I would say all people that were on the survey, said we're doing it Very good job. And the most common comment was very professional in our approach. People were impressed that we were able to connect with some, as Shirley mentioned this morning. We have members this morning from India through to Australia. Very impressed with the number of people and number of countries that are attending our Zoom meeting. People were very interested in finding out more information about what was going on in PROBUS around the world. So all the comments that we're getting about how PROBUS works in different countries have been a very positive impact on what we're doing. What happens in Australia certainly is can be taken into account at other locations and utilized. One of the comments I had from RAM in India was the concept of having a central organization, and this is one of the things that RAM and RAO are currently working on, is how do we set up a central organization in India. And certainly through PROBUS Global, we have offered any support they need in doing that. One of the comments that we got, we talked about global day, global month, global week for all our PROBUS clubs. And Australia has their global or PROBUS day, and Canada has PROBUS month. So we're looking and thinking about somewhere down the road, maybe we can have an international PROBUS day. One of the things that was suggested, which we're acting on today, is extending the interchange back and forth between the attendees and making sure that we get more comments on what's going on around the world. And that's either Q&A time or Peter's format today on the website. And the big point that was made by everybody is we're doing this now because we're in a situation worldwide with the pandemic we're in. But once that has been sorted out, please continue what we're doing, because the amount of communication that we've been able to do is outstanding, and that should be continued. That's a pretty good survey off the survey. And I'll now turn it over to Peter, unless there's any questions at this point, because we'll get into a lot of Q&A later on. So let's move on to Peter so we get to keep the flow going.
I'm just going to interrupt for a moment. I'm going to put everyone on mute, and when you're the speaker, like Peter, you'll have to unmute yourself, and Guthrie will have to unmute himself, and then that way we won't get the feedback. Okay?
Great.
Okay, am I sharing my screen and able to hear me?
Yeah.
Good. Because I don't have an unmute button once I started sharing my screen. I'm going to figure this part
Well,
out.
I didn't get there yet. I give the warning. Okay, I'm going to mute everyone now.
At any rate, Dick asked me to just go over a little bit the website, because we've been noticing that not everybody is coming to the website, and so perhaps we should show a little bit of what's going on there. This one will scroll up to the top. The first thing, since this has been asked a few times, is where does this picture come from? And I'm going to leave it to you to guess. So maybe at the end we'll have some guesses as to where you think our welcome screen comes from. But it's an interesting one because it really could come from a lot of different places. The main part of the website are these big buttons that let you go to various sections. The first page would be the connection page. And when we started PROBUS Global, that was really what we had in mind, was how to connect people around the world. So we've created these different ways of connecting. And I have to say, a lot of what we've done is just been kind of experimenting and throwing things out, see what catches and what doesn't. And that's why we need the feedback from everybody else to understand whether it's something that's worth carrying on or whether we should just close it off. The video chat meetings, which are open 24/7. Anybody can go to it. You just click on the link and it will open up a calendar and a video chat where nobody's there except me right now. And that's often been the case, except for Sunday mornings when there have been 4 to 5 of us have shown up regularly on Sunday mornings. But anybody can go there anytime. And there's a bulletin board, so you can say, I would like to meet up with somebody at this particular time and see if others will show. And perhaps we can get some feedback as to why nobody is using that at this time. The member chat room is just a simple chat where people can type messages to each other. And for the most part, that's been Shirley and I welcoming everybody who arrives. And once in a while, there's been some chatting going on. But I'd have to say, once again, not used as much as we would have thought when we put it in place. The email connections is an interesting one. This actually came out of a survey we did earlier on where we asked if people would be interested in having a way of forming email connections with other members, a kind of a pen pal club, we called it. And we had 60 people say they were interested. And we put the list up. Everybody can put up their profile and picture. I'm not going to show that this morning, but members have access to it. And I think some people have been using that to form relationships and enter the conversations by email with other members. But I'm not sure that it's being used a lot, so I'd be curious to how many people would like to use that. And then I would have to say the greatest success has been the meetings that we've been holding, both the PROBUS global meetings and the meetings in various clubs, and that has been very well received. It's been great having guests at the Newmarket Club and at the St. Catherine's Club, Bradford, I can't remember which other ones, but there've been a number of local club meetings where they've invited guests from PROBUS Global, and that has worked out really well. So if you want to attend a meeting somewhere else, just come to this meetings page and you'll see a calendar where we know we have invitations to come and attend the meeting. And when possible, we list exactly what's going on. And if you thought you were going to the St. Catherine's meeting on April the 6th, please note that it's on April the 13th. There was a little bit of a glitch in the system, shall we say. Moving back to other things on the website, of course, there's the usual frequently asked questions. And if you are talking to somebody else and asking them, and they ask you about PROBUS Global, this is a good way to find out what the answers are. And here's the group of us that are kind of responsible for keeping things going for the moment.
Okay.
The other part of what we've been showing here is things of interest to people who are running clubs and club meetings, and we've been gathering some information. So it's kind of a separate section for those who are running PROBUS clubs or those who are wanting to start one. And we've gathered some information on how to start a club. And this is not, some of the website is only visible to members. This is visible to anybody. So it's a way of promoting PROBUS to places that don't have PROBUS. The Newmarket Club shared their operating manual that they created, which is an amazing document on how they run their club and how they keep it operating and how it works. From Australia, Rob Murray has shared some documents on how to make your members happy, how to keep your club running successfully. And similarly on some documents for members development and retention strategy. And Rob likes to create these various graphics and things that you can send out in your emails. So he's a great source of those things, and we'll share more of those. Some other things on club websites, other things that people have been doing, and how to run a Zoom meeting, which seems to be everybody knows now. But back when we put that up, it seemed like a lot of people didn't. And the last thing which has been suggested, and I'd like some feedback on this, that we could have a curated list of speakers who are willing to present on Zoom at various PROBUS clubs. And I think that we could probably make good use of what we've been doing here to share speakers around the world. In fact, the St. Catherine's Club is having a speaker from the UK at the next meeting. So that's kind of an indication of how that has been working. Oops, I better admit Brian Brody, because then I won't be able to see my menu.
You got him, Peter.
One of the other things have been interest groups, and that came out of the original IPN before PROBUS Global, and they had what they called SIGs, which are special interest groups of various kinds. And so we've created those. The photography group has been going since 2008, and mostly it's on Flickr, but there's a page that we can put up some of the various items. And once again, it's become fairly quiet. I would have thought it would be have a lot more traffic. The interest group that does have a lot of traffic would of course be the funny pages, and anyone is welcome to put up anything new that they see that somebody might laugh at. I kind of like this new one that just arrived, and it's quite easy. If you've got an image, you just copy and paste it onto the page and it will appear and become part of this list. If you're creating a newsletter, you could probably come here and find some filler space for your own newsletter, because I think it seems like Probians have a pretty similar sense of humor, judging by the various contributions that have shown up on this page. One of the surprisingly popular pages has been the poetry page. Again, this was something that came back from the original IPN group, and we get quite a few poems, both ones that are taken from the media and a few written by members from various clubs. Probably the other most important page is the newsletter page. And if you're interested in reading newsletters from other PROBUS clubs, this is where to find them. Obviously, we have our own PROBUS Global newsletters, which have been out since first Christmas 2019 one. Then there are national ones from Canada, Australia, South Africa, Japan, and then various who've sent us their newsletter or sent us links to their newsletter page where they're sharing them on the web for everybody to see. Those are here. I particularly like the Holland Park one. If you're looking for filler information, the Holland Park Australia is probably one of the best newsletters out there. And if you're looking for you know, how to set up your own newsletter, that would be useful as well. And then there are Google links to other PROBUS Club newsletters as they appear. The PROBUS Global YouTube channel is where we collect the videos from previous meetings. So you can always go there. And then there's also some links to other PROBUS Club meetings. And I think we pretty much get it. Oh, the other very important one, and actually the most used page on the website is finding a PROBUS club. And this is where we have tried to list as many PROBUS clubs as we can. In Canada, the PROBUS Canada website's very good. In Australia, the website there is very good at finding a club. UK has not had much of a permanent list, but Shirley Roberts has been collecting those for years, and so I think we've become the de facto UK PROBUS club list, and then of course other places as well. So for example, if you wanted to look in Belgium and you wanted to find a PROBUS club member in Belgium, then the website will help you to get there. The other thing, of course, you can use the search. Oops, why did that go back? And if you search for Newmarket, for example, I'm not sure if I was off mute when I let go of my space bar, but so you'll find the various Newmarket clubs in the world. I did find it interesting that Newmarket has a women's club and a ladies club. So maybe somebody from Newmarket can explain that one. So are there any questions at this point that people would like to mention?
I have a question. My name's Gary Bennett. I very much have enjoyed this whole session, and
Thank
I
you.
see your pictures, but I'm wondering how to contact people like Brenda Andrews or Richard Furlong. Is there any posting or any listing that we can find one another?
Well, the
Yeah,
answer,
okay,
the
I'll-
answer,
okay.
was in that presentation I gave earlier, Gary. If you go to the PROBUS Global website, at the top right is a menu called Connect. Connect with a PROBUS Global member, and everyone who is a member of PROBUS Global, either they've shared their email address, and those who don't wish to, there's a contact button which will send them a message to get back to you by email. So PROBUS Global website, connect with a member.
Great,
Yeah.
thank you.
That brings up another question on the first part of our presentation. We talked about these meetings, and we also talked about our website. Any comments on the way we're doing things, what we're doing, or anything that you would like to see a little different? So if anybody has any comments, please do.
I have a question. Can we simply take over the image of PROBUS Global and the symbol of PROBUS Global on our website in Belgium? Or do you give a special authorization to do so?
Peter, you,
Yeah, it's just not something that we have considered, but I certainly don't think there's any objection. The picture, the photo with the guy on the dock is actually a stock photograph, and it's royalty free, so you're welcome to use that. It's not really a symbol of PROBUS Global. It's just what we put on the website at the very beginning as a holding image until we built the website. And then after that it became, and the logo does belong to us, but at this point it's not a registered logo, and it's just slightly based on it. Shirley Roberts created the logo that we have at the top of our page. So I'm going to give you permission right at this very moment
Thank you.
to share with you. And earlier I asked the question, so do we have any guesses as to where that image comes from?
Lake
Well,
Louise?
I would guess in the Rocky Mountains, but I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Lake
I would
Louise.
guess that, Steve.
Lake Louise?
Lake Louise, yeah, it looks a lot like Lake Louise, which actually Lake Louise itself, but the nearby lake is on our $20 bill in Canada, or at least it was. Is it still on there? Any other guesses? We're all in North America so far. And we don't. Well, it was a surprise to me, but it is in Bavaria, in Germany, and it's not what I expected. And if I can figure out where it is what's it called? I should remember. It's the Berchtesgaden National Park in Bavaria.
Ah,
Who knew?
I didn't think of it.
No, I'm going to have to go there and take a look, because it is so much like the Rocky Mountains that's I would have sworn it was there.
But it is a beautiful area.
Yeah, both of them,
Yeah, yeah, indeed.
and a lot more mountains than Belgium.
What I failed to ask when you had the Canada presentation, how is PROBUS represented in Quebec?
Richard, I think you should answer that, or Brenda.
sorry, I missed the question.
How PROBUS in Quebec?
No, we do not have any clubs in Quebec. We had one that initially started up. Unfortunately, they didn't continue. It really came down to I guess a legal issue about all documents in Quebec has got to be bilingual, both French and English. And the club did not have access to the French language part of it in those days. They had to operate their meetings in both languages. So the club, which was in the English part of Montreal, decided to go in their own direction, just sent up a Friendship Club. And that's many, many years ago. And since then, we have not had any movement in Quebec. And part of global PROBUS, when we started this, and I did learn that there was PROBUS clubs in France. We were trying to create a link between some of our French contacts in the global with some contacts we had in France, but so far it's gone nowhere. Certainly, it's a void in Canada that we'd like to correct at some point.
Yeah. Well, what France has done is last year, they have, Jacques-Pierre Nollet did not mention it during his presentation. They initiated the first PROBUS club in Finland.
Okay. So they should be open to the first PROBUS club in Quebec.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe, yeah. It's a void in Canada that has bothered us for many years that we'd like to at some point correct. So,
Yeah.
is there any other comments from, as I mentioned, on the website or about the format on these meetings and the frequencies of them? What would you like to see? You know, our club is about membership, and our club is about making sure everybody's comfortable and are enjoying it. And the real big thing is learning something about PROBUS and what's going on in the world of PROBUS. So we're open to any comments, and you know, maybe this is not the format for that, but as Peter has said earlier, there is a methods on our website where we can go in and give our feedback. That's what we're looking for. This is why we encourage these meetings. We can only get better by having people tell us what we need to be doing. So please get to us and say, hey, we're very happy. Well, the survey said you were happy, but as I said, that was only about 25% of the people that replied. So please, you know, get back to us, because feedback is what makes us even better.
I'd like to say, I just want to say that I'm really impressed with PROBUS Global. They've done such a great job of bringing everybody together, and I hope after COVID that we can all continue with what we're doing.
Thank you, Brenda.
I can only join Brenda. I find it interesting, and the website is certainly easy for access. And for a number of things, I'll try to convince our people to take some elements from the PROBUS Global websites incorporate them into the PROBUS Belgium website.
Well done.
That's great. I'm glad to hear that, you know, you'll take the idea of the global aspect of PROBUS and get it down into your members, because you know, there is a lot to offer. And one of our members who talking to me recently said, you know, it's amazing that we had this and we were able to do that. He can't wait till he starts traveling again, because now he feels he has contacts around the world when he's traveling wherever, Belgium, France, India. There's people he can reach out to just to get the flavor of what's happening locally.
That's right.
So, you know, that's a big aspect of this. And as Shirley said, we started 2.5 years ago with 30 people on PROBUS Global. Today we have a little around 500. I was targeting for the 500 for this meeting, and we almost got there. We had 497 this morning. So maybe I'll switch it a little bit and say, oh, there's 3 more people out there, so we have 500.
Well, there are enough people here that on the website, on the front page, there's a button that says invite. And if you'll give us the email address of anybody that you think should belong to PROBUS Global, then you click on the invite button, and Shirley will send a personal message from the president of PROBUS Global. Are you ready to send out a whole lot of messages there, Shirley?
Well, I've been sending so many out recently.
Great.
Well, I think that is one of the big things. The very quick reactions you generate to an email to you.
Well, we
We
don't
Now,
stand around.
When I first joined,
tried very hard.
Shirley, you reacted immediately.
Well,
I think Shirley is on her computer all day long, from 7 in the morning till midnight, something like that.
something like that, yeah. Occasionally I take a rest.
The other thing we should mention, we're planning on having a newsletter coming up I think we're targeting for the end of May, 1st of June type time range. If you have articles that you'd like to go in the newsletter, please get them to us. The last newsletter we had contributors from around the world, from Australia to India. We had people give, their personal contact and their personal relationship with PROBUS Global through articles by Gauthier on Belgium. So we're looking for things like that will help people out to understand what PROBUS Global is all about. And personally, I think people that are not joining, that are PROBUS member, are missing a lot of opportunities. So please hit on that invite button and invite your friends to join.
Yes, the newsletter that was sent out to all the UK clubs, there were some very good positive responses from them. The people enjoyed reading the newsletter and thought, very informative and very professional as well. So let's hope we can keep up that standard, because I'm sure it will be a good way of getting the communications through well. So.
I have to leave now, as I have a medical appointment by phone coming up. Enjoyed the meeting immensely. Thank you very much, Shirley, and for our Belgian gentlemen. And I look forward to the next one. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Bye now. Okay.
Bye-bye.
I guess on that note, unless anybody else had any comments, we'll wait till the next meeting to see all those smiling faces from all over the world.
Yeah, this is a great meeting. This is my first of the global meetings. I'm in St. Catharines with Peter Jennings, and it's super. I noticed quite a few of our members were here.
Great.
Well, thank you very much, and already had a few comments. I appreciated the whole event, and wish you all from Belgium a happy Easter.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Gauthier. That was a great presentation. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Bye now.
Bye.
Bye.
Take care.